Good afternoon, and thanks for having us in, and happy 4th of July. Unfortunately, storms this morning have been putting a damper on some holiday festivities. Sioux Falls canceled its parade this morning because of the rain and lightning. This is what it looked like as city officials canceled the parade. Live music at the Levitt Shell was also canceled because of lightning. However, lunch was still going on. I was just there. They were handing out plenty of hot dogs. And dozens of people were able to take part in the fun run this morning at Faywick Park. The Parks and Rec Department posted this video as runners kicked off their strides. You can see those dark clouds in the distance before the rain started coming up. The 4th of July parade in Lenox was also canceled this morning due to storms. This is the 39th old-fashioned 4th of July celebration in Lenox, where today's car show was also called off due to heavy rain and lightning. A majority of this afternoon's and tonight's events, including live music at the band shell, followed by fireworks at dusk, are still, however, scheduled to happen. The storms are already impacting fireworks shows for tonight. The city of Yankton says it will postpone its display because the rain and lightning are preventing the pyrotechnics team from setting up the display. The fireworks show has been rescheduled for July 5th at Riverside Park at 10 p.m. We felt some rain this morning. It sounds like that's going to continue. Just how much remains to be seen, right, Adam?
Yeah, we're going to be watching for redevelopment later this afternoon and into the evening, especially to the southeast. So if you do still have any outdoor plans, you want to keep that in mind, have backup plans ready to go. But we are getting a break here in Sioux Falls. There's a view of Great Bear. 69 degrees at the airport with a south wind at 10 miles per hour. Amazing what some rain will do to help cool things down a little bit. But speaking of Yankton, they have been dealing with rain for a better part of the morning, and there are still more thunderstorms in the vicinity down that way in Yankton County. 66 with a view of the marina, an easterly breeze at 15 miles per hour. We're at 76 in Spencer, 72 in Brookings and Watertown, as well as Mobridge. But notice out west, 59 for Rapid City, 57 in Custer, 64 Buffalo and Faith, and then 62 in Pine Ridge. That's the leading edge of that cooler air that's going to make its way in. And stick around for the second half of the week. Also notice it's a northerly wind for a majority of KELOLAND. Again, that's bringing in that cooler air. But if you're in the southeast, it is still a warmer southerly breeze overall, so we are going to need to keep that in mind. So here is satellite and radar. There are those thunderstorms down toward Yankton, Vermilion, into Union County that are sticking around. And like I said, we are expecting a bit of redevelopment later in the afternoon and evening, so we're not quite done with the threat for some thunderstorms yet. Temperatures will peak generally in the 80s to near 90, especially if we can get some sunshine to peek on through to the south and east. But for the rest of KELOLAND, we cool down. We're talking about 70s up to the northeast, 70s and 60s in western KELOLAND. And it's going to feel like September for the second half of the week. We'll talk about that in the rest of your 7-day forecast coming up.
All right, thank you, Adam. A Del Rapids woman who was sexually abused as a child is becoming an advocate for others. Taylor Mommer says a huge weight was lifted off her shoulders when a judge sentenced her father to 50 years in prison in early May. Craig Worm was convicted of rape and sexual contact with a child. Mommer says she did not want anyone to go through what she did.
Being able to not hide it anymore. That's one of the hardest things, especially as a kid. Having to hold it all in, it tears you apart in so many different ways.
In tonight's Eye on KELOLAND at 10 from our Tom Hansen, Mommer talks about the challenge of making sure her father, whom she calls a predator, went to prison, and how she has become an advocate for other victims of abuse. At least 5 people were killed and 2 children were injured in a shooting in Philadelphia last night. And in Texas, 3 people were killed in another shooting. These are the latest of 4 mass shootings over the long 4th of July weekend. Naomi Ruckham has the latest on investigations into these tragedies.
It is a violent start to Independence Day in America. Late Monday, a shooting claimed several lives in a Philadelphia neighborhood. Police say a gunman in a bulletproof vest shot at random over multiple city blocks.
As they were scooping up the victims and preparing them for transport to the hospital, they also heard multiple gunshots up the street.
Police chased the man into an alley where he eventually surrendered. 2 boys were also injured, a 13-year-old and a 2-year-old. Both are in stable condition. And in Texas overnight, several people were shot in a Fort Worth neighborhood. At least 3 were killed.
Shortly before midnight, shots were fired inside of the crowd.
The latest shootings come after gunfire rang out at an annual holiday cookout in Baltimore Sunday. 2 people were killed and dozens were wounded, most of them teenagers. Police suspect there were multiple shooters, and the FBI is now offering a $28,000 reward for information that leads to the suspects.
We won't stop until we find those responsible and hold them accountable. We won't.
And in Kansas over the weekend, a shooting at a busy nightclub. 9 people were shot and 2 others trampled while rushing from the scene.
We need to take a very strong stance in response to what occurred because, in my estimation, I believe it was totally preventable.
Scenes of gun violence across the country now tainting what's meant to be a day of celebration. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News.
According to the Associated Press, the shooting in Texas marks the country's 30th mass killing this year.